Hello everybody, and welcome to the newest question video. And today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're still going to be answering questions, but this is a special episode. It is the debauchery episode. The episode in which I engage in multiple vices while I record the video. So I have here a bottle of Corona Light, and I have a black and mild cigar. So in the course of this video, I will be drinking this bottle of Corona Light and smoking this cigar. And because they're considered vices, I guess. And also for another vice, the vice of sex, because I'm extremely sexy. But that's a vice I have in every video, so that I can't really claim that as a special vice here. But, you know, I'll bring it up just to make the set complete. Anyway, I'll be using my Flyers lighter. Look at this. Oh yeah. Go Flyers. Oh yeah. Here we go. Alright. Nice. Remember kids, smoking makes you cool. You should all smoke. Nice. I usually don't smoke in here. I don't like the room smelling like smoke, but oh, what the hell? Just for today. All right. Well, this is I'm actually unsatisfied with the way that I lit this, so let's try. Nice. Okay, now that we got that going for us, I'm going to scroll down here to the last question I was on. Alright, here we go. The first questions we're going to answer today is, we have two sets of three by Gary MC 2000, a set of silly questions and a set of serious questions. Okay, serious question. 1. If you could pick any singer in the world to perform the songs that you write, who would it be and why? And I presume this would be a famous singer. Does it have to be a contemporary singer, like somebody right now, or can I go back in time and grab, say, I don't know, Freddie Mercury and have him sing my songs? Well, I don't know. This is difficult to say. I would want somebody with a lot of range and a lot of emotion behind their singing. And you know, what singer out there, like a guy singer, can really do that these days? It's hard to tell, because there's not as many soulful guy singers as there once was. So I'm just going to I'll come out with like a cop-out answer that let's go back in time and grab you know what, screw it, Phil Collins. He can sing my music. There we go. Easy answer. What was I ever complaining about? Alright, number 2. You've been making The Sims 2 for almost 3 years now. What is your favorite episode, counting the post-original LP shows? So he's pretty much saying, what's my favorite episode of all, of the 150 or so that I made? Well, there are a lot of choices, obviously. Well, there's 150 choices. But the one I'm most proud of is the one that is probably the saddest one, the one that contains Laura's death. Because when I made her death montage and set it to the song by Franz Liszt, or whatever his name is, the German-Hungarian composer from 100 years ago, it just sort of came together in a way that surprised even me. Like, I was even a bit amazed by how good it came out. And I almost for a minute thought, like, this is too much, you know, this is too emotional, this is too strong, you know, people are going to be overwhelmed by this. But it turned out to be very well received, and to this day I probably think it's my favorite Sims 2 episode. Okay. Number 3. Who is your favorite non-LPer YouTuber, not counting Suddenplant, Let's Spike, Jukebox Marmoset, and Let's Drive? I would have to go with The Amazing Atheist, just because, well, he's amazing. You know, he has a lot of great insights into things. He's a very thoughtful person, similar to me in many ways, but also different enough for me that it's always a little bit different to see him than it would be to just think my own thoughts. And it's really interesting because he's a really bright guy, and he has a very good way of articulating what his thoughts are. And I mean, I'm pretty good at that myself, but he has it down. He just has a knack for it, and I think it's amazing. And like me, he also smoked in an episode, but he was making a point about something. He wasn't doing it because he actually smokes. Okay. Now for the 3 silly questions by Gary MC 2000. Number 1. What's the square root of infinity? I like to think it is something that I like to call the ultimate something, where it's the most complex and hard to understand thing in the universe. Number 2. Are you made of leaves? I think I'm just going to have to leave that question alone. But I don't think I'm made of leaves, because if you did this to leaves, wouldn't they like break apart and float away? So I'm going to say no. Number 3. Why is Jukebox Marmoset a marmoset? Well, it is a marmoset because the name was actually thought of by my good friend Vincent Van Mike, otherwise known as Mike Blue. He basically just he's a very random guy, so we just thought of these just 2 things that don't really go together, a jukebox and a marmoset, and so Jukebox Marmoset was born, and it's the best name that anyone could ever hope for. Other than Bone Canoe 86, Suddenplant, and Leslie Spike. It's like 4th. And he has a bonus question. More Sims 2. That's not a question. Moving on. The next, 18 questions are all by a fellow named wariolandgoldpyramid. So here we go. This is going to take a while, so better take another drag of this cigar. Yes, smoking is cool, kids. I have to repeat that. Smoking is cool. Find an older friend who will illegally buy you cigarettes. Disclaimer, I hope you know that I'm just joking about all this. Or am I? I don't know. Number 1. When is your birthday? Sorry, I already forgot. My birthday is February 17th. If you can't figure out what year, it's pretty obvious. It's every year. Okay. 2. What YouTube LPers inspired you to become one? My number 1 source of inspiration for starting an LP was Sir Ron Lionheart. I've talked about him in the past. He was this awesome, amazing YouTuber that came into existence in February of 2009 and pretty much stopped in July of 2009. And he only really started getting famous, YouTube famous in April. So just from April to July of 2009, this really short window of time, he was like huge and uploading like a bazillion episodes a day, and it was amazing. And then he disappeared. So he was my main inspiration, but I also have to say there's a few names that don't really circulate as much as they once did. For example, Cybershell13. Many of you might not have heard of him, even though he was pretty big at one point. He's originally a Something Awful member. Something Awful, by the way, is the forum that originally spawned Let's Plays, the idea of Let's Plays, as they're known today. They also spawned Right Supre. Raucow is originally a Something Awful member, and Cybershell is too. Also, incidentally, Proton John, also a former Something Awful member. But Cybershell did what many considered to be the definitive YouTube Let's Play of Sonic, the entire Sonic games for the Genesis. Sonic, the original Sonic, Sonic 2, and Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I just was amazed by those, and it was actually Cybershell that introduced me to Sir Ron Lionheart. And it was Sir Ron Lionheart that sort of made me go the leap between Sonic and Mario. Like, you know, believe it or not, 3 years ago, I really didn't know one Mario game from the other. You know, Mario was something pretty foreign to me, which might be surprising considering I grew up in the era, but I had a Sega Genesis. But watching Sir Ron Lionheart's Let's Play of, you know, Super Mario Cookie Crisis, that ROM hack, got me into ROM hack Let's Plays, and eventually got me into Raucow. So all this stuff sort of conspired together to make me interested in that kind of thing. And so it really was Sir Ron Lionheart. Although I think that Joseph V. Stalin had something to do with it because, like, he was the big guy who was doing the kind of games that I do, you know. None of these other guys I talked about really do my main kind of games, but Joseph V. Stalin does them, and I try to take after him as much as I can, which is kind of ironic. Well, maybe not ironic, but kind of odd considering that he's actually 3 years younger than me. Yet I sort of look up to him as a role model, at least where LPing is concerned. Same with Sir Ron Lionheart. Turns out he is 2 or 3 years younger than me as well. Guess that comes to show that age is not everything. Anyway, number 3. Answer the following in a British accent. This is going to be painful. If you could talk to either Lucy or Amanda or Sue, but just one of them, and ask her 3 questions, what would you do? Well, my good sir. Oh, that already sucks. I would be very pleased. I'm not even going to try the British accent. That doesn't even sound British. It doesn't even sound like anything. Lucy, Amanda, or Sue. Who would I want to talk to? They would all have a lot of interesting things to say, but I don't know. It seems like of all of them, Sue would be the one who I would have, you know, the most topics of interest in common with. You know, like, she and I would be interested in more of the same things than, say, me and Amanda or me and Lucy. But what would I ask her about? I don't know. I'd ask her, you know, I'd ask her how she feels about her, about how her family and about her sisters, about what it felt like to grow up with Lucy and Amanda as sisters, and you know, what, you know, the thought process was that led her to come to the conclusion that she was a lesbian. But I would also ask her, like, what her opinion is on political matters and philosophical matters, because I'm sure that Sue has thought about this. Because one thing I've noticed in real life is that it turns out a lot of the girls that have the best personalities are lesbians. So, I don't know. It seems like a lot of straight girls, not all obviously, but a lot of them are just so used to being taken care of by guys that they don't really have the need to become much in the way of thinkers. But, you know, a lesbian girl is going to pick up a more, you know, left-brained way of thinking, you know, a more analytical way of thinking about things, and I think that's attractive to me. So I talked to Sue. These things last a while. Okay, Next question. How long will you be doing The Sims 2? I don't know. Many think that I've stopped. I haven't stopped. I'm only sort of in a pause, so to speak, because of Windows Movie Maker sucking. But I see it going on for a while until I eventually. I mean, one day I'll probably say, okay, enough is enough, but I don't see that day coming soon. I see myself going through phases where I make a lot of Sims 2, then not a lot, then a lot again. I just happen to be in a not a lot phase, and perhaps a phase where I make a lot is coming. I can't say when. Might be soon. Might not be for a while. I really don't. I really can't tell you. One thing I can say though, when I get a better video editing software, that's definitely going to be encouraging to me to make more Sims 2. Okay, number 5. I had a dream you made a new channel. Do you think you need to create one for some other purpose? No, not really. I mean, I have Bone Canoe 86 for my gaming. I have Suddenplant for vlogs. I have Leslie's Bike for real life. If I want to go back to recording more driving adventures, I have Let's Drive for that. What else do I need, you know? I mean, if I was going to do something completely different than I've done so far, I would make a different channel. I mean, I've considered making a channel for politics, like talking about politics, but I don't know. What's it called? The desire has not been strong enough for me to actually do it. This makes me feel good. But the channels that I have are sufficient for now. Number 6. Do you have an Android phone? No, I have a brick. Well, not really a brick, but it's a Motorola. It's a flip phone. It flips. Flip phones used to be cool, but that was years ago. But I still have one. I got one as soon as they stopped being cool, basically. I'm such a hipster. Oh, look at me. I'm carrying this phone ironically. Oh, oh, oh. Not really. I carry that phone just because I don't have a need for anything fancier. I wouldn't use it. I barely use my phone as it is. Okay. 7. The whole world is going to explode in 24 hours. What do you do? I think I answered a similar question in one of the previous parts, and my answer remains the same. I would party it up. 8. Do you play chess? Yes. Not very well, as anyone who watched my over on the House of Sim channel, King of the Hip Hop and I played a game of chess. And it was a very clumsy game of chess that I eventually won just because I happen to be a little less clumsy with chess than King is, and I eventually defeated him. But he had the opportunity to checkmate me in one move, but we didn't realize that until later. It was pretty funny. I gotta tell you, back when I was in 3rd grade, when I was 8 years old, chess was a really big thing in my class for whatever reason. I think it was because one of my classmates was a state champion in chess. Like, he was like one of the big competitors in his age range. And he used to teach me all sorts of things about chess. And of course, he was brilliant, you know. I could never beat him. Never beat him. I'd play him. You know, there were people in the class that I would beat every time, hands down. Then there were people I would beat most of the time. Then there were people who were like 50-50. Like, I beat them one game, they beat me the other game. But I could never beat. Until one day, at the end of the year, I finally beat him in a game. It was a very proud moment. Now, I mean, I've played chess since then, once in a while, of course, but, you know, the skills that I acquired as an 8-year-old lad playing against a state champion chess master have sadly been lost throughout the years. So, if I were to go back in time and challenge my 8-year-old self to chess, my 8-year-old self would totally kick my ass. So that would be kind of funny. Number 9. What was the saddest day of your life? That's a hard question to say because, well, I really haven't had any real strong personal tragedies. Like, there wasn't a day, like my parents are both alive, there wasn't a day where I suddenly found out that someone close to me had died, or that something really terrible had happened to someone I knew. I mean, my grandfather died in 2006, and I mean, I was sad, but we were never that close. I mean, it was sad, but it was more like that's sad, and not the whole the weight dragging you down kind of sad. I mean, I could say the day that I failed trucking school in Indiana back in 2008. That's a story I have to tell you guys sometime, but that wasn't sad. It was more just like exhaustion, it's finally over in one way or the other. Even when I broke up with my ex-girlfriend, there wasn't like a reveal like, oh, she's been cheating on me this whole time and she dumped me in some grandiose fashion. No, it was a gradual decline. So there wasn't like a single day. Same with college. Like, when I dropped out of college, there wasn't one day where I'm like, I can't do this anymore. It was, again, a gradual decline. So, I don't know. It's going to be really hard to answer this question, but I'm just going to go with the day that my ex-girlfriend and I broke up for the first time, because we had broken up a couple times and got back together, but the very first time was only about a month into our relationship, where things were only just starting to get intense, and it was still within the scope of the new relationship energy, which anyone who's been in a relationship knows it's a powerful thing. And it was even more powerful than me for most, I would suspect, just because of the life I had lived up until that point. Not only was it new relationship energy, but it was a first relationship. So what ended up happening was, it's a long story. I'm not sure I want to tell the whole story now, but pretty much in one day, she pretty much told me this could not go on. And, because there was another guy competing for her interest, someone she had known before she had known me. And he was her age rather than me, who was several years younger. And she pretty much left me for him. But the problem was, he lived in Colorado, and she didn't have the money to go to see him. And I was the one who was closer. So things worked out that we got back together and went on to be boyfriend and girlfriend for almost 2 years after that. But, it really felt that my whole world was ending when that broke off for the first time. I was 18 and it was really sad. I almost sank into a depression that was very deep. I mean, not that I didn't later in life for other reasons, but it would have been a much more dramatic collapse. So that's the best answer I can give you for the saddest day. Okay. 10. Do you still remember how you did the great original Let's Play of The Sims 2? How Mike and Laura just moved into town, how the house was really small? Yeah, I remember that, of course. It was barely 2 years ago. It wasn't that long ago, really, in the grander scope of things. And I say, it was a lot of fun making that. Once in a while, I'll still watch an episode or two. And that was, I still say, the heyday of Bone Canoe 86. Sad to say, I don't think I've reached just the heights of connection I had with what I was doing and the growth I was experiencing and everything. Both growth in viewers and growth in my craft, I guess you could call it, as I did during the original Sims 2 LP. And it's something that I've been unsuccessful in capturing with anything else so far. I don't know. Okay. Number 11, peanut butter and jelly or mac and cheese. Well, I'm not really a big fan of mac and cheese. I mean, it's okay. It tastes good. I'll eat it. Now, the paratrooper, on the other hand, is a huge mac and cheese nut. You know, he eats mac and cheese almost every day. But mac and cheese is really not that good for you, unlike cigar smoking, which is very good for you. So I don't really want to do that so much, eat it so much. But peanut butter and jelly, I just find to be very delicious. It's not that bad for you. It's pretty good for you, actually. So I'm definitely going to go with peanut butter jelly by a lot. Besides, there's the peanut butter jelly time out there. There's not mac and cheese time. So I think, if only for that reason alone, peanut butter and jelly wins. Okay. Do you like SpongeBob? I guess he's alright. I mean, SpongeBob was a little bit after my generation. Like, I was in high school when SpongeBob came out for the first time. So, I never really got into him on the same level as many in the younger generation did. But he's okay. Like, not great, but not bad either. Like, it's a good thing to watch once in a while. That's what I think. 13. What is your lucky number? I've always had an affinity for the number 47. I sort of stole that number from my friend 47 Planet Bacterian. See, it's right in his name. But yeah, I sort of stole that from him. But that's been sort of a meaningful number ever since. I mean, it's a prime number. It just, for whatever reason, it's a pretty meaningful number. I used to be really... I used to make up my own numerology, and I had a lot of numbers that were significant. Some of the ones I remember were, besides 47, there was also 61, 108, and then there was 848, 914, and 1021. Derive whatever meaning you will from those. There's probably no meaning. So there's that. 14. Will you play The Sims 3? Sorry, I had to. I will refer you to my previous answer of kumquat. Alright. 15. Do you agree that the golden era of The Sims 2, my Sims 2 Let's Play, I'm assuming, was when Mike and Laura were adults, Lucy and Amanda were teens, and Sue was a child? I'm going to have to say yes. There is something just so interesting and electric about that era. Just a passion that I don't think I've been able to capture since. So, yeah, that was the golden age. I mean, maybe I'll have a second golden age with Sims 2 in the future, or with another show. I mean, I think my SimCity 4 is going through its equivalent of a golden age right now, but, it's still nothing compared to what The Sims 2 Let's Play in its second half was. Okay. Was Mike or Laura's death more painful? I'm going to say Laura's, just because she was first and it was like a bigger thing, I mean, once Laura died, Mike's death was kind of inevitable. I mean, it was still sad, of course, but we all sort of knew it was coming, so it was less of a hard-hitting thing. So Laura's death, I think, was the more painful of the two. I probably look like such a slacker right now, but oh well. 17. Why do some YouTubers, like me, have some subscribers if they never made any videos? Well, I think that's pretty common. A lot of people out there sub for sub, so if you sub to somebody, they're going to come to your channel and sub to you just because you sub to them. Also, sometimes if you make a comment on a channel, people will come over, will be like, that's an interesting comment. They'll click on your channel link and subscribe to you for no reason. And also there's the people that will subscribe to you just as an encouragement to make videos. I know I have subscribed to some people, especially forum people, who I do want to see make videos, who haven't made videos. Sean, I'm talking directly to you. But also other people. So those are some reasons why people might get subscribers even if they have not uploaded a single video. Okay, his last question. What is your opinion on YouTube's new look? Could you make a small video review where you show and comment? I was considering doing that actually, and I might still. But I don't really like it, but I don't dislike it as much as everyone else seems to. I mean, it's not that hard to figure out where everything is. I mean, it's a little bit annoying that the channel comments are no longer right there like they were. That's a bit of a pain, but I don't know, it looks sleek, and you can still find everything that you could find before. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to. I mean, sure, would I prefer that they had kept it the way it was? Yeah, probably, but we'll all grow used to this, and we'll forget how the old way was. I mean, it's happened on Facebook like 1,000 times, and Facebook, it's kind of funny because every time Facebook appears to take a step back, it's really taking like 10 steps forward. And I think YouTube is looking at Facebook and it's like, huh. And so I think we'll all get over this. All right. Well, that's the end of his questions. Warioland Gold Pyramids questions. And I think that's a good place to stop this video, the debauchery episode. It's kind of funny. I have answered only 2 people's questions in this video, but I think I got a lot through. I'm hoping people are watching more than just their own answers. I always like the end of the cigar for some reason. I just like the air has to go through less distance, so it's hotter, and it almost makes a little buzz, just like a little tiny buzz. Not so much anymore because I've had enough of these. I'm just going to chug this beer. Nice. Well, I hope not too many people have been turned off with me smoking in an episode. Let's do this from the side. But, one thing with suddenplant is I want it to be honest. And, I've mentioned that I smoke black and milds once in a while, so, I thought there was no harm in actually doing it on a video, because I don't want to make myself into something I'm not like. I tried to make myself the family-friendly guy, but that's not really who I am. So, I'm just being honest with you. In all seriousness, I'm neither endorsing nor condemning anyone out there who wants to smoke or even have a cigar once in a while. I think most men have cigars once in a while who are adults. I'm just saying it's something that I enjoy. It's something I picked up a couple of years ago. And, is it bad for me? Yeah. But is it, are there worse vices out there? Oh, certainly. I think people who overeat, eat really fatty foods, and then just become big fat lards are actually doing much more damage to their health than even a chain smoker of really harsh cigarettes. Huh. It's interesting. I was just answering questions, and now I've turned this into a bit of a blog. But that's alright, because I love when I answer questions and it sort of opens up things. Keep in mind, most of my best blogs I make after I come back on drives where I've had at least 2 of these, if not 3. It does stimulate me. And I don't like to waste, so I'm going down to the very end of this cigar. But, you know, I just want to keep the video going until I finish this. There was something cool about smoking these, driving around somewhere awesome like Philadelphia, listening to hard rock. There's a hobby of mine, you know. It's one of the things that brings me joy these days. I am getting a bit of a buzz off this, actually. Okay, this is almost done. Final drag. It's gonna face this way this time. Alright. Thank you for watching, everyone. I will answer more questions later. Goodbye.